So basically here, just a minute. Here the knowledge representation basically main thing is automobiling and four-wheel. Just carries up that examples here. Yeah, automobiling, four-wheelers and carries of the people and small. The rule based means the automation of the four-wheelers. So just like as the automation of the library, because automation of the library is only to be reflected to the entirely the issue and transactions, each and everything that will be reflected through the automation only. That is there is no manual system. Entirely the processing of the data transmission is only for through automation only. In the same scenario here, real based system also in the knowledge representation. This is one part only. And the second one is called as the background of this content is only to constellation of the domains of the facts and supporting the conversions of the knowledge. That is one concept. Here the knowledge representation is clearly the defined the notation of the formation and the coding of the knowledge is stored in the knowledge based system. So that means information is knowledge based means that is called as the information. Information is stored in one place and surveying several people. In this scenario, they are using several programs. That is the Prolog is also one of the programming here. They are using KN. That is the KN. That is called as the knowledge based Prolog. This is only one part only. And second one is the frame based system. So frame based system, they are defining the several people. The MIT Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the 1975. The framing of the knowledge management system, a frame data structured representation, structured simulation is being the certain leaving of the room. So that is called as the structured based mean. For example, in our library and everything, the stack area, especially all the books, it will be how it will be categorized alphabetical orderly, and also in the subject wise, and also in the classification. The same scenario in the MIT Institute of Technology, the university, the people will be library people, they are the classified in the systematic way, strengthening of the situations of being certain kind of living rooms, going to the children's each and everything. That means what is the classification that define of the different categories, just like as the libraries or otherwise in the structure of the framing of the any areas, it will be reflected in the systematic format of that way. In the examples here, they are given, just like as a subclasses, subclasses. That means subclasses means in the main subject, what is that main subject? Second subject is the what is that? For example, in the anatomy is there. So anatomy is called as one of the parameter. It will be defining what is the blood groups. Anatomy, it will be bias of the body of the part, each and everything. It will be analysis and giving to the brief of the classification. So that the same scenario, one anatomy is only one main content example. It will be reflected to the bias after several parts. It will be reflected with information. So the same scenario here, this is the different elements are applied here. This is the color, that is the color indication. The color indication is one factor, and instances several examples. Just like as the anatomy is the only phenomenon in the example of the frame-based system, and the semantic-based is called as a web-based system. So web-based knowledge-based system networking structure. For example, in the online journals is there. Online journals, how it will be working? For example, on international journals is there. Any one of the international journal. For example, Harvard Business Review is there. One of the general management magazine. The magazine will be published by the USA. The people will be spreading, providing to the information in the worldwide e-content of that information. That is the semantic web. What is that? The people will be storing the entirely the e-content of that magazine stored in one server. The server will be reflected to providing to the those n number of the people in the world. Those who are the subscribing the database, that is called as the subscriber magazine. All the people there they getting the through the user ID and password. On the basis the semantic nets it working through the structured network database. So that is the structured network means the IP based protocol, internet protocol based. So first of all, we are the subscribing, we are providing the IP. So automatically the people will be saved in our IP. So whenever we will open the C, so immediately IP reflected to the information, automatically it will open. That is the networking based system. The semantic web means called as a web-based network. So totally to just like as a LAN network connectivity on the basis we working. So in this way, in this content in the semantic nets will be given to the several examples here. So that is called a McLean exporting and here in the page number C, your 107, the textbook of the content in the prospectors and dendral and maxima. So this is all are one of the live examples of the in this subject. So especially the knowledge representation of the skin. So basically, what is the knowledge representation schemes here important in this libraries? So in the library class, for example, in this first one is the library classifications. Library is the broadly to classified in the several categories. That is called as a three categories. So basically, divisional classification, column classification. So what UDC classification. So this three classification in the world is going on. And the majority of the classification is the called they are using decimal classification. In this scenario, in the fields of information in the knowledge society, to bring the item together, they helping the sequence of order. So providing the orderly access of that information. For example, as just like as our example is OPAC, online public access cataloging. So in our tool, any of the automation of the library, previously in the catalog boxes is there. There are three categories. One manually they are the preparing author list, title list, subject list. Three categories manually they are preparing in the library card of the size 12.5 12.5 into 7.3.75. That standard of the library catalog card they are the followed. Right now here in the Mark 21 is came. So Mark standard format all the people they are the using only for the OPAC in the standard Mark format only. In the OPAC online public access cataloging, it will be defining the classifying of that information, knowledge classification schemes, just like the author catalog, title catalog, subject catalog. In meanwhile, in our library, you have the n number of the databases, n number of the information is there. So we are incorporating the database, automatically it will be reflected to the subject wise classification, other title subject. Otherwise, we have the preparing one of the video lectures is there. That names we are giving the tag one by one. Online journals is there. There the access open access journals links is there. So such type of the links they are the providing automatically it will be reflected. Then one contemporary. And second one is the use of the library classification schemes to organizing the internet. So in the internet based today, the internet based all the libraries are working. For example, in the live example, or the Library of Congress. Library Congress in the New York, they are the providing the online cataloging classification in the world ways. So in the previously in the all the people there the DDC manual books are using. So we are the manually to check the cataloging call number and then only we are allocated the each of the group. Right now the online Library of Congress they are the providing the free of the cataloging. All the people they are using that type of the classification. Here in the what type of the classification they are the given a number of the projects are applied here. What is the what if the first one is the LCC called Library Congress Catalog. That is one catalog. Library Congress Catalog in the New York. They are the providing the top of the world wise. Those who are the book in the publisher in the world wise. immediately they are allocated the classification number. So easily to find out. That is one contemporary. And second one is the DDC. That is called as the David Decimal classification. Right now, 23rd David Decimal classification is going on. The David Decimal classification is reflected to the classification of that order of the each of the book in the top to bottom in the alphabetical order. So, for example, in the 001 general 001 generalities to up to 900 social sciences. So it will be reflected. So that is the UDC. So UDC is also is the one classification. So there is the this is only some limited institutions only. Yes, some little bit of central funding agencies, one or two institutions. So are only they are accessing the database. And this is the worldwide the toppest institutions they are using the LCC and DDC and UDC. Unified David Decimal classification, DDC David Decimal classification, LCC Library of Congress catalog. This is the familiar. So especially the universal decimal classification is UDC. So it will what type of information they are the delivering. That is the basically. So that basically they are the delivering director of networked resources. So that is the mainly one contemporary that information they are the providing. GEHAD, that is the German Havel's automated retrieval directory. These two databases it will be reflected in this data in this classification. And David Decimal classification is the David that is called as DDC. It will be reflected. Adams art under designing and architecture and media information gateway and David Decimal classification it will be providing. They are giving the things. This is the source of that information. They are the providing knowledge-based schemes. So knowledge-based schemes, how it will be getting, where is it is available, it will be given to the classification number here. And the library classification and the cataloging. So the library classification catalog, corporating online cataloging code OCLC and CC, that is the CORC, that is also one thing. And on the other is the National Library of Medline. National Library of Medline is worldwide free online medical data, medical books and medical journals are there the providing. On that link is the knowledge basic scheme, knowledge representation scheme. They are the providing that information to the all the public domain. That is also one thing. And subject headings. So subject headings and organization of medical networks internally they are the providing Medla. That is one contemporary. So and remaining one is the enumerative versus facilitated classification scheme. Enumerated classification schemes developed by the S.R. Ranganathan. Enumerated classification scheme. Each of the item name they are given the one of the classification numbers. So what is that? Each of that path, each of that item, they are given one of the classification number. That is mainly. So on that basis, enumerative and facilitated classification scheme. Many of the websites, just like as a DDC and Library of Congress catalog, they are giving the brief of the information from the classifications of the library only. So they are given the number of the classifications here. What is the rules and representations here? They are given. You can see. And also advantage of using the facilitated classification. So in the facilitated classification advantages offers flexibility and interdisciplinary. So as usually flexibility. So that means the benefit of the user. So what type of that information is very good, easily to find out to answer to interdisciplinary. That means flexibility means we can what type of the two information is access easily to find out, and interdisciplinary means not only for in our library science, the rest of the all subject all alphabetical order, each and everything it will be reflected on that area. That is one contemporary. That is the main way. And the essay accommodating of the concept based information. So that is knowledge based information is one of the part of the concept based information. So concept based ways the people will be providing that information. That is one contemporary. And here some of the disadvantages also is there in the database. Here that is the unlike of the 2TC and LTC. So in case the people will be asking the information, quick information only. So the people will be go to the searching just like as the DDC and LTC. They may be unfamiliar of the most of the users. For example, in the, what is the meaning of this content in that scenario? The DDC in the 00 generality to up to 900 in the arts group 900. This all the numbers that is not to recognizing is not a easy of that way. So this is the difficulty to the user to identify. So simplicity of that method they are asking. For example, the people will be coming to the one night call center. Chetan Bhagat one is required. Immediately the people will be click it. So that basis only the people will be asking that information. That is main contemporary. That is the main thing. And the disadvantages of here, this is the main thing. That is the taxonomy. So that is the one of the taxonomy. Taxonomy is the typically to control the vocabulary in the hierarchical structure. Taxonomy will be controlling of the vocabulary of each of the knowledge of the management system. This is the good tool to taxonomy to effectively using of the tool. This is the very useful of the tool mainly to focusing on that area. And also there the given here seeing the advantages of the anatomy, advantage of the taxonomy. What is the taxonomy advantages of the disadvantages is there? They're the given here in the all the list of the findings and new information. So what is the new information is going on? Current content of the information, the taxonomy will be providing. Language and searching. So what type of that language? There the different languages is there. So which is that language? For example, generative publicity. So we need only for the English easily to find out. The Chinese of the people, they are actually not using the English. The Spanish of the people, they are choosing in his language, the national in the 5 languages of the worldwide topest language. So that type of the taxonomy will be helping to the considering the digital of the people. Facilities and associate of the learning, the new model thought. So new model thought, technology and applications will be provided to the taxonomy. Website designing. So website design is, for example, neatly to designing that information to providing to the students easily to find out. That is also one contemporary. That is the easiest of that way. That's one thing. Also, content management. So content management is one of the topics of that here. So content is reflected to the brief of that information. So for example, not only for the one subject of that content of the area, for example, so all the principles cannot be followed. One better so Drucker principles is only for required to you. So immediately to find out the inputs of the Drucker principles of management easily to find out the principles of the management. So that is called as the content management. So that means entirely the management all the books are required. So only the content of the point. If you need only Drucker principles is only you can require. That type of the flexibility is there. Controlled vocabulary. So what that is the web searching process. So what are the information in the searching tools? What type of the information you are searching? That accurating information, it will be reflected on the database. And the decision making. So in the decision making is the key role. The fact finding what type of the information making is the most important. So which is the information is the required? Authentication information, non-authentication of information. Here in the Google, so many people are published the information and provided this information. That is the authenticated or not, how it will be identified, the gadget information or textbook of information. That is called as the authentication of that information. It will be provided in this concern. And also controlled vocabulary. Controlled vocabulary also is the main key role of in this part. So this is the main scenario is subject heading list. So subject headings also is the one called major key roles here. Subject headings, for example, the classification of the book, the subject heading, This is the physics or chemistry or maths. What type of the books? What is the subject of that scenario? It will be subject rating easily to find out this book is which subject, which subject, easily to find out. So subject rating is very important in this scenario. And next one is called thesaurus. So thesaurus is called as a dictionary. Dictionary is only to provide into the meaning to meaning only. For example, in the manner, MANNER manner. So what is that abbreviation manner? Manchi pravartana is called as a good character. So that is only reflected. Here in the thesaurus means one sentence it will be provided one word. So it will be reflected the brief content of the elaborative of that information, not only for the meaning to meaning. So just like as a one poem, it's like a one quotation. So the word it will be reflected to the brief of that thesaurus of thesaurus. It will be reflected the brief of the information. That is one contemporary, and also meta, and also here applications of control vocabulary also is there, and the metadata standards. So any of the database there the followed the Mark 21 standard metadata. So data, what is that metadata? Data is called as a metadata. So what is the metadata? Data to data is called as a metadata. The metadata standard is the 21st mark format only. All the people they are the following in the worldwide. Any of the international standard, any of the like library classification, the 21st century. So all the people they are the following that standard of the cataloging only. Library, cataloging, and metadata. Library and cataloging. The previously the library catalogs they are preparing in the manually. Here the structured cataloging of the library catalog is designed according to the metadata format only. So what is metadata? Metadata is the structured format of the classification. For example, author, what is that? What is the surname? What is the call number? What is the edition? What is the year? What is the subject? This is the standard structure of the format. Even you can go to the CE, the USA or UK or abroad in the world wise, all the people, they're the following that method only. So on that basis in the standard Library of Congress, they're the following this type of that method. All the people, they're the following that type of the method. Types of the metadata here. This is descriptive metadata, technical metadata, structural metadata, administrative metadata, rules metadata. So what is the structure? What is the administration of the principle? Each and everything one metadata it will be reflected in the standard in his application. So in the resource and discovery discipline in the metadata, the example main familiar in the worldwide Debian core metadata is one of the standard metadata base. And also including in the transmission standard one is and metadata objective description scheme and test encoding time and online information exchange. In this metadata is the familiarly the Debian core metadata is the familiar of the database. Majority of the mark format will be this metadata base is they are the following. And also research database information and metadata. So this is also helpful to the research and R&D also, that contemporary and the media and the object. So today is the multimedia. So what type of the picturization, visualization, each and everything is just following one of the standard structure of that format. So this is the image of the standard. This size of that image is the required. This standard is the image. You know, on a book standard is there. So automatically 25 into 40 centimeters is there. So this is the image is only this type of the. Once we are clicking into the opaque in the search metadata, the image is reflected to the left side or right side of the bottom. So that type of that information it will be display in the metadata. Learning objective and description of discovery of the schemes. For example, IEEE learning objective metadata. So IEEE metadata totally to reflected one standard structure of the format only, the top to bottom. So that is one of the manual style. There are the followed. Gateway of the education material. That is one contemporary. So each of the metadata, each of the people, they are the following Debian core metadata only. That type of the structure that will be followed. That is the mainly. So in the examples of that X metadata, NDLD metadata, So many metadata is there. So familiar is the metadata. So this is the most important of the metadata structure. And semantic also web. Semantic web is reflected to the just like as a Google, Yahoo, the search engines is called as a uh, semantic web databases. So this is the two live examples, semantic web data and a resource description and framework. So semantic web is the most important. So remaining is same scenario. This is the standard structures of the metadata and pictures. You can see all the course materials once. So easily to find out that material. So this is the structure of knowledge representation schemes basically. These all are it will be thoughts to the knowledge based schemes only. So you can see the content wise of the book easily to find out to understanding the basic information, basic knowledge, the knowledge management system. Knowledge management is totally to delivering the brief of that information. It will be standard structurization of that format. Mark 21st only. This is the structure of that format. Any doubts, please? Hello?